while back, I visited the Doctor Duncan's pub in Liverpool, England. It was a nice pub, it had decent burgers, the place was a lot bigger than I thought it would be. On the outside it looked quite small, looked like it was just one room, but as I walked inside and headed towards the toilet, I was stunned to see that the pub had 3 or 4 big rooms, opposed to just that one by the window. The toilet is located underneath the pub. Considering the size of the pub, I was predicting that a toilet would at least have 2 stalls and a wide urinal. At least 2 sinks or a wide sink. I know hoping for a wide sink in England is futile, but one can dream. Just to make it clear, this is not what I wanted the toilet to be, this is the bare minimum I'm expecting of them. So far, it seems most toilets only go for the bare minimum. A pub this size should have 3 to 4 stalls and a urinal, but I'm predicting it's only 2. I walked down the stairs and there I saw 2 sinks. Yes, I thought. The room was very small though, that's unfortunate. This was early during the day, so no trouble with queues, but I imagine it can get annoyingly tight down here during the evenings. But I've seen worse. Then I turned around to look towards the stalls and immediately thought, oh no, what is that? Is that just one stall? Yes, it is. Oh my! They should at the bare minimum at least have 1 more stall. Enough with the introductions. It's got a grey floor, black floor molding, bottom half of the walls are covered in blue tiles while the upper is covered in white tiles. It's going for a very standard toilet/bathroom design. It's safe, it's simple, it works, it's decent. A little uninspiring, but keeps the classic toilet look. Not all toilets do that, so I'm appreciating it a little. But what is not good is the whole section next to the urinal. That does not look good and really brings down the whole presentation. It could be that fungus was growing beneath the tiles and that they've had them removed temporarily to fix the problem, but nothing looks fixed. Also, I don't get what those dark areas on the wall are. Looks like it could be water or perhaps piss. Or maybe it's rot, anyways it doesn't look well. Again, in good faith I'm assuming they were removed purposefully, rather than over time having gradually fallen off/been removed due to damage. But how am I, as a customer, meant to reach that conclusion on my hopefully quick visit to the toilet? I walk in, I see a wall like that. I'm assuming the whole place is falling apart and I'm better off peeing and shitting outside in a bush or behind a tree. If they have removed the tiles temporarily, and if they do have the intentions of getting them back quickly, then hang up a simple sign explaining the temporary state of the toilet. But I do not believe this to be the case. Whatever the cause is, I do not believe they have an intention of fixing it soon. I believe if I were to go back there now, right now, almost a year later, it would look the same or perhaps worse. Even the floor molding is falling off. Why haven't they removed that? It doesn't look fresh either. This whole section of the wall looks sloppy and has been handled carelessly. But other than that, the walls look mostly clean. There are some stains and marks here and there, like this thing on the wall. What is that? It's a faint yellow. Did someone pee at the ceiling? And what are those black marks? There are several other marks around the walls as well. Some of the marks look to be damaged tiles, that I can forgive. The marks aren't that big and I won't demand the pub to replace their tiles every single time they get the tiniest of scratches, but some of the other marks look like dirt. Or rather, dirty glue left by old stickers. This should definitely be washed away. The airdryer also has sticker marks. It really doesn't look good. Also, when you go into the toilet and close the door, you're met with just a terrible looking sight. Stickers, halfway torn off stickers, damages, graffiti. I get it, removing stickers can be quite hard, they stick. Various tiny damages here and there, it's to expect over time. The graffiti, what are they gonna do? Repaint the door every time someone paints on it? No, I get it, it's just a pub. It's almost expected. A toilet on a pub wouldn't be complete without some graffiti here and there, some would say. But it's still of course going to detract from the overall score. And another thing before I move on, who are these people anyways which leave stickers everywhere on public toilets? I've never met anyone who's walked around with stickers in their pocket. The floor looks somewhat clean though, so that's something. Let's move over to the actual toilet itself. How was it, you might ask? Fine. It was fine. The main body is white with the seat and the cap being black. I originally liked this combo and thought it was cooler to have it be as it is rather than having it be all black or all white. But while writing this script I find that I don't like it as much as I thought I did. I thought it had a nice contrast to the wall, with the walls having a light upper part and a dark lower part, and that it was cool because the toilet had the opposite. but since the lighter part of the wall is so far above the toilet, I don't really feel the contrast. In my opinion, the toilet should either be all white, because as of right now it kinda drowns in all the dark colors around it, or it should have the same shade of blue as the wall surrounding it. The wooden box behind it ruins a lot for me. I just don't feel the color goes well with the rest of the room. Had it been black or the same shade of blue as the wall, I think I could have more easily accepted it, maybe even liked it. And if the box was blue, then the toilet couldn't have been blue. If the tiles on the walls were black rather than blue, then maybe I could accept the brown color on the box. Maybe. After I had done what I needed to do on the toilet, it was time to see how well it could flush. And it worked great. It wasn't too hard to push, but not too sensitive either. A lot of water poured out and completely washed my shit away. It's unfortunate how the handle is placed though. As you can see, it has over time scratched away part of the surface behind it. That doesn't look good. The toilet and its seat were clean when I entered, which is just perfect. I love it when I don't have to clean the seat before sitting down. The toilet paper dispenser was good. It had a good placement on the wall and in relation to the toilet. Good functionality. Also had a good thick roll of paper, so no worries for it being empty anytime soon. Of course, in any case of emergency, they could have had an extra paper roll lie on the top of the wooden box, but that wouldn't look too good. But then again, this toilet isn't going for exciting aesthetics, so it would actually be fine if an extra paper roll was lying on a wooden box, just in case. Some other quick notes about the room before we move on. The room feels very claustrophobic, with the ceiling bending as it does. I don't think they had much of a choice. There's probably some stairs right above it, but that still doesn't take away from the room feeling tight and confined. The lock worked great, not much else to say about that. There's also a lamp in here which I think is quite ugly. Or perhaps more bland than ugly. Nevertheless, I don't like it. Now then, let's move on to the sinks. The sinks are a goddamn mess. First off, there's only one soap dispenser, and it doesn't even have any soap in it. And it's early in the day. It shouldn't be empty already. It should have been refilled either while they were closing or while they were opening for the day. Also, why is it located to the right rather than in between the two sinks? From a compositional point of view, I guess it looks better to have it be where it is rather than in the middle, but the alternative would have been a lot more practical. Or have one on each side, fucking! As for the sinks themselves, first off, I hate this design. I know it's very common throughout England, but damn, it's fucking useless! The one spring pours out ice-cold Atlantic water while the other is so hot, I kid you not even Satan himself would dare go near it! To wash your hands, you have to move them back and forth quickly to mix the temperatures. It's evil, it's just evil. Every time I use these, I swear I look like a fucking seal having a stroke. In households, I'm told that you're supposed to plug the hole at the bottom and mix the temperatures in the sink by filling it with water. But this is a public toilet, there are no plugs! So I'm forced to clap my hands with ice and fire. But again, that's just how the sinks look in England. Most of them at least. So I can't really allow that to affect the rating, I suppose. Now, the next question is, do the sinks actually work? No, they don't. The sink to the right has a good thickness on the cold water, while the hot water is almost non-existent. I get way too much cold water and not nearly enough of the hot water. And the sink to the left is even worse. Again, a good thickness on the cold water, but the hot water, come on! It pours for 1.5 seconds and then it stops. Terrible, absolutely terrible. After I had washed my hands, or with no soap and terrible water, it's debatable if one could call them washed, it was time to dry my hands. My only option was an air dryer. I hate air dryers. They never work. This one, however, actually works. It's quite good. Blows hard. It doesn't stop before you need it to stop. And it doesn't take forever to start over. This one works properly. Good on them. Good on Dr. Duncan. Moving over to the urinal. It's decent. Considering this toilet only has one stall, I like that the urinal is wide going from wall to wall rather than having those singular ones. This way, if there were a massive queue, more people could pee in the urinal at the same time than would be possible if there were only singular ones. And I don't believe they'd be able to fit more than 2 singular urinals in here anyways. It's not very stylish though, but it works. It could have been just a hole on the ground with a steel wall behind it. It's got a good size to it. There's quite a lot of pee on the floor. Looks somewhat fresh too. I can't really blame the pub for that, considering it looks to have happened within the last 2 hours. It's disgusting nevertheless. I've probably said most of what I have to say about this place, but before I move on to the conclusion, I just want to mention a few things I noticed after writing most of the script. Outside the only stall this toilet has, there's this strange small corner area, which I don't get why exists. It looks weird, it doesn't make the room feel any less tight. Just seal it off. Inside the toilet, there's also 2 medium-sized damages on the wall. It doesn't look good. Why is the drain located in a corner? Wouldn't it be better to have it somewhat centered? And the concrete frame it has around it looks just, terrible. There's string on the floor. Why is there string on the floor? Get that shit out of here. Above the urinal, there's this strange tile pattern, which I don't really understand. In my opinion, it looks like a bunch of nothing. It looks like they wanted to get a little creative and not have the room be as sterile as it is, but it just looks weird. Also, it looks like it can be removed, but I don't see why it being possible to remove it would force you to have this uninspiring pattern. Also, they could have had a bigger mirror if the soap dispenser was placed differently, but it's fine, that's just a nitpick. I didn't like how the brown color on the wooden box behind the toilet stood in contrast to the blue tiled walls. Same goes for the wooden box the sinks are on. It looks decent in design, but just have it be blue or black. Perhaps my main issue actually is with the blue tiles, although I initially complimented them. I think the wooden boxes would have worked a lot better had it not been for the blue tiles. The entrance doors have I neglected to mention so far. They look fine, decent, but for some reason they don't share the same shade of brown as the wooden boxes. Pathetic. Anyways, let's wrap this up. This toilet didn't have the bare minimum that I was expecting. It's only got 1 stall, it's got 2 sinks, which is good, but they don't properly work, so their initial goodness is annulled. The color scheme doesn't work. The more I look at the blue tiles, the more I realize I don't like that shade, at least not in here. The soap dispenser has no soap, the air dryer is really good though. The urinal is wide. There are decisions that have been made for this toilet which I just don't get. The entire toilet is mostly clean, but it's got a lot of marks and damages here and there. And then there's that part of the wall missing. Ugh. My final score for this toilet is a 4 out of 10. Get me out of here.